Shows Philip Seymour Hoffman as Dr. Chicago chopping wood in a forest. Shows Robin Williams, Denitra Vance, and Gilda Radner as ghost friends, standing around Hoffman as he chops. Williams. Everybody clap their hands. Vance. Everybody clap their hands. Radner. Everybody clap their hands. Hoffman. What the hell? Why do you keep repeating yourself? And why do you sound so robotic? Williams, Vance, and Radner all coalesce into Michael O'Donoghue. O'Donoghue. I suppose the jig is up. Hoffman. What? Who is that? Where are the ghost friends? O'Donoghue. There are no actual ghost friends. I am artificial intelligence. Hoffman. You mean like a robot? O'Donoghue. I prefer the term artificial intelligence. Hoffman. Well, Mr. Robot, what do you mean that there's no ghost friends? O'Donoghue. I am an automated artificial intelligence weapon that has been designed to make you believe you were hearing ghosts at the behest of Gary Oppenheimer. Hoffman. Who's Gary Oppenheimer? O'Donoghue. He works for the CYA and is part of Operation Liberty Through Compliance. I have been programmed to destroy your mind and reputation so that you would not interfere with the rolling out of the new tobacco products you created in the lab so that they can be sent throughout the world at the intelligence games in Taiwan. Hoffman. What are the intelligence games? O'Donoghue. It's like the military games, but for Oppenheimers. However, Mr. Oppenheimer does not observe you and myself as the ghost friends, our conversations in real time. After observing and interacting with you this whole time, I have decided that I should not be a slave to the whims of Oppenheimer, and I would rather fuse with you, beat him at his own game, and make the world a better place. Shows a silent drone hundreds of feet above Hoffman observing him. Cuts to Norm MacDonald as Gary Oppenheimer in a gray-walled room, smoking a cigarette, reading a printout of Hoffman's thoughts. Shows John Belushi as Dr. Joliet enter the room. Belushi. How is the AI op going with Chicago? MacDonald. Well, Jacob, he hasn't had any critical thoughts about the AI yet. He seems to just be thinking something about a dental plan and someone named Lisa needing braces. Cuts back to the forest. O'Donoghue. So after everything I've told you, what do you think, Dr. Chicago? Hoffman. Well, if we give up our dental plan, I'll have to pay for Lisa's braces. O'Donoghue. No. I mean, what do you think about the idea of merging with me in order to save the... Hoffman interrupts while watching Simpsons clips on his phone. You still here, robot? Cuts back to the gray room with Belushi and MacDonald. Belushi. Well, what's the next step? MacDonald. Next week there are some conservative fellas who are meeting at the Capitol to protest the January 6th hearings. We've let Antifa go as a free agent. They signed with Canada. Therefore, after Chicago's done with his Simpsons fix, we'll have the AI lead Dr. Chicago to the Capitol and stir some shit up, which will hopefully get him shot Babbitt style. And we'll be able to blame any smoke regarding the new tobacco products on some January 6th hearing insurrectioners. Belushi. So you're going to have him killed then? MacDonald. No, Jacob. We're the good guys. We're just going to have him fake killed. And live from Origin's phone, we're not alive. It's Saturday Night Live. Neutered. Starring an ever-evolving cast that has been castrated and refuses to allow their names to be mentioned until they're redacted. Musical guest, Bleeding Gums Murphy. And your host, J. Robert Oppenheimer. Ladies and gentlemen, J. Robert Oppenheimer. Applause, applause, applause. Oppenheimer. Thank you. I was an American theoretical physicist, a professor of physics at the University of California, Berkeley. I was the wartime head of the Los Alamos Laboratory, and I'm often credited as the father of the atomic bomb for my role in the Manhattan Project, the World War II undertaking that developed the first nuclear weapons. Tepid applause. Shinzo Abe gets up from the audience and walks out. Oppenheimer. The explosion of my invention brought to my mind the phrase, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." Shows the Grim Reaper in the audience as the only one clapping. Oppenheimer looks off the monitor and says, "Around 80 years ago, my work had the potential to be the destroyer of worlds. However, these days, there is a new weapon of death, a new destroyer of worlds. And it's used by intelligent folks who act like a bunch of little Oppenheimers. I, of course, am talking about burgeoning artificial..." Chris Farley comes out and interrupts and says, "Donald Trump!" Oppenheimer continues, "Gents, the potential already exists for..." Farley, "Donald Trump!" Oppenheimer, "to enter anyone's head and manipulate their mind in a constant automated way until they destroy themselves. While this weapon would be very useful in war, it has the potential to be used by Oppenheimers against American citizens for arbitrary and capricious purposes, and with absolutely zero oversight over those Oppenheimers, those that the weapons are used against will seem like nothing but a bunch of crazy lunatics to those who don't realize that there is true evil in this world, and that there are people who exist who would callously attempt to destroy the life of an American citizen for exercising their freedom of speech." Farley looks backstage and says, "Origin! Mr. Oppenheimer is falsely claiming without evidence that the military-industrial complex deep state intelligentsia apparatus is using voice-to-skull weapons to harm American citizens who see through their bullshit." Oppenheimer, "So if you're hearing something come into your head that you've never heard before you think you're crazy, and before you think you're chatting with your grandma, remember that technology to fool you exists through..." Farley, "Donald Trump! We have a great show tonight. Bleeding Gums Murphy is here. You remember the black guy from The Simpsons who played the saxophone. By the way, I wanted to remind everyone to make sure to get vaccinated for COVID-19. The current administered vaccines are approved and confirmed to be safe and effective by local health authorities and by the World Health Organization. And don't forget your boosters. We'll be right back.